So, Mr. Ambassador, reports of a warming Israeli-Turkish relations are growing again. We see the smoke, as it were. Should we expect to see the fire as well?
I don't believe it. I think that what we see today in the region is we see a clear situation where you still have some regimes which have radical line, aggressive line, and it's going to be very difficult to overcome this. I believe that our interest today in the region is to reinforce our cooperation, not against anybody, but to invite all those who really want to accept the basic values of stability first and foremost, security for our region, and to ensure prosperity for our people. If Turkey and other countries will accept these values, will accept these principles, there is no reason why not to accelerate the cooperation. But at this moment, this is not yet the case.
So you're still describing a win-win situation among the partners that are going to participate in this initiative?
Well, today we, I think, together with Cyprus and also with Greece in recent years, we have built a very strong partnership, an alliance. An alliance, again, that is not directed against anybody. But this partnership is very clear in its aims, in its targets. It's aimed in order to increase the security for our people, the stability, and to build on economic projects. We see many accomplishments. For example, the latest big accomplishment is also the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum. Mm-hmm. So we are building on energy to cooperate also not only Israel, Cyprus, and Greece, but also together with Egypt, with Jordan, with other partners in the region, in order to build cooperation around energy, to do positive projects that will actually bring fruits to all the people of the region. Again, if anybody will accept all the principles and all the values that we share, definitely we can work with them, and they are all invited.
On the other hand, there are facts. In the midst of the pandemic nightmare, Turkey continues its piratic actions in the Eastern Mediterranean, trespassing and violating the Cyprus economical zone. In a sense, this is another, let me say, Turkish invasion. Mm-hmm. So how is viewed by Israel this?
We expressed our opinion quite a few times over the last few months. I also expressed it quite specifically on my behalf, that we follow these acts by Turkey with grave concern. We expressed our solidarity. I expressed my solidarity with the Republic of Cyprus, and we recognize fully the right of Cyprus in its economic zone, in its exclusive economic zone in the Mediterranean. Beyond that, it should be recalled that already in 2010 we signed a delimitation agreement with Cyprus. And this delimitation agreement identified clearly the border between the EEZ of Israel and the EEZ of Cyprus. And we expect everybody to recognize this agreement. Mm-hmm. Again, this also agreement is a basis. It's not just an agreement on paper. It is a basis for the very advanced cooperation that we have today with Cyprus on various energy projects, on natural gas, but also other energy projects. And we expect also for it to be a basis for more wider regional cooperation, such as in the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum, yes, that has just been established.
But at the same time, Turkey is doing exactly the same actions in Aegean. So, I mean, it's an attitude.
We have a very strong trilateral with Israel, Cyprus, and Greece. In the beginning of every summit, our heads of state said clearly that this cooperation is not directed against anybody. It is for our people. We have a clear view of the future that we want to see in the Eastern Mediterranean. We know where we want to go. We believe that this future is one which is better for our people. And we want other people to recognize this future. you know, unfortunately, there are extreme regimes which don't recognize it. For example, also, there is a very extreme regime in Iran today. Just last week, the Ayatollah in Iran called for the destruction of Israel. It called Israel all kinds of names, all kinds of sicknesses, and it's not normal that a country still today can call for the destruction of another nation, the nation of Israel. We expect all the countries, Cyprus and also European countries, to clearly stand side by side with Israel against this phenomena.
You want to say, with other words, that at the same time that Cyprus expects something from Israel with what Turkey is doing, Cyprus has to do exactly the same thing in the actions of Iran. That's what you're saying.
I think you're putting words into my mouth. What I'm saying is that there are, we have, first of all, first and foremost, we have to look at ourselves, where we want to go. Our work is not, when we wake up in the morning, we don't think about what other people want to do to us. We for now, for 72 years, in the state of Israel, every morning we come to work and we think how we build the country. We build a wonderful nation based also on a very successful economy, an advanced high-tech economy, and also a very rich, pluralistic society, built also on many different points of views. Very dynamic democracy. Sometimes we see it every day in the news, how dynamic it is.
Especially now with the new coalition.
Yes, it's a very dynamic, it's a very interesting, I think, to watch democracy, but this is what makes Israel so strong. This is what makes our society so strong. And we believe that with Cyprus, which is also a democracy, with Greece, which is a very ancient democracy, and also with other countries in the region which want to see the future in our eyes, in the same eyes that we see, we can build a very solid future for our people. And then we expect that all the people that see otherwise, unfortunately the extreme regimes, will realize finally that it's not in the interest of their regimes and of their people to pursue their radical ideologies.
At the same time, Turkey is using and exploiting the Syrian and now the Libyan immigrants in order to create a new fait accompli. So how can this behavior be tolerated?
Well, I think, you know, for us, we have said clearly what we believe. We also made clear statements in the recent months. I've mentioned them already. I believe that today, especially after the outbreak of the coronavirus, we should see the risks, and there are risks. There are also dangers in our region. We live maybe in one of the more unstable regions of the world. It is a very risky situation, very difficult situation, and I don't want to disregard those risks. But I think, and I believe, that it is really our priority today to build the future. And this can only be done, as we did, as I said, in Israel, over so many years, looking at the dangers, working against them, but also working for our better future. We have to build our cooperation. This means more and more preparedness against emergency situations, more and more economic cooperation also on innovation, bringing our young generation, and we do it every day, bringing the young generation of Israel and Cyprus. Just yesterday we had a very interesting event online with many participants from Israel and Cyprus and many other countries as well on innovation. Innovation can provide solutions for security issues, but also for health issues, for environmental issues, climate change, for cybersecurity, for many important issues which are at our doorstep. We believe that this is the way to go. See the risks, face them very firmly, but also work in a positive direction to build our future.
But there are a lot of people that saying that Turkey and other similar regimes can understand only one kind of language. I mean, one certain team of actions.
Well, again, I don't think that we should be putting ourselves in a trap where we start thinking what they think and This is not the way we want to go. We are very sure of what we are doing. We are very convinced of what we are doing. And this has been the success of Israel over 72 years. And again, I've mentioned the Iranian threat, but we also have other threats in the region. Israel has had to survive several wars against its existence, and everyone.
But there were times that you were forced to use the hammer.
When you have to defend yourself, you defend yourself. But at the same time, you also have to use the situation to build opportunities, and that's what we're doing. To defend
only yourself or also your allies?
Well, of course, the Israeli Defense Forces, their aim is to defend the state of Israel. This has always been the case. But today, we are forging very strong synergies, very strong cooperations with other countries, also with Cyprus, with Greece, also with other European countries. Of course, our first and foremost ally is the United States of America, and we have a very strong cooperation and alliance with the United States. And we are cooperating with many countries. But again, I believe that we shouldn't concentrate because, you know, I feel sometimes that we are drawn into areas where we shouldn't be drawn into. We should look into the future. And today, we are also not, let's say, in the same situation in which we were.
So you're feeling that someone is pushing you to be found in a fight that it's not yours?
I mean, maybe some people have an interest to drag us backwards. But we should resist this temptation. Today, again, we are coming out of
But you're not referring to Cypriots or to Cyprus?
No, not at all. Not at all. In Cyprus, we have a great friendship. This friendship is going from the level of the heads of state, which is a very close relationship between our heads of state, very close cooperation on the ministerial level, on expert level. Also, we saw this connection, very strong connection, in the times of Corona.
Yes, I will come to that.
Η συνεργασία μας σε καιρός κορονοϊού ήταν πολύ δυναμική, πολύ δυναμική. And I want to complete it. Έτσι πρέπει να είναι μεταξύ Ισραήλ και Κύπρου. It's a natural way to be because we are a close nation. It's a natural way for Israel and Cyprus to work together because we are very close, friendly countries. We saw our medical teams working together in the fight against coronavirus. And I have to say that thanks to that also, of course we do have to say it with due precaution, today both of our nations have been successful in confronting the coronavirus.
Okay, allow me to make another one or two questions, especially for Turkey. During your CYBC interview last week, you said that Cyprus is important for Israel. I mean, how far is Israel ready to go in order to defend and safeguard the threatened sovereignty and independence of her valued neighbor?
We have to build our relationship on the basis of the trilateral. I think this is the most important foundation that we have built for Israel, for Cyprus, and for Greece. We have this trilateral framework, and it's very clear what we are doing. And again, I stated very clearly that in the beginning of every trilateral, the three heads of states make a statement in which they say that this cooperation is not intended against anybody. The trilateral that we have built is a positive phenomenon. It's a positive process which is building something new. This is something that also we have to recognize did not exist until now in the region. If I mention the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum, this is something historical. You know, I don't think we can take this for granted. A cooperation around natural gas between our three countries, Israel, Cyprus, and Greece, but also to get today together with Egypt, Jordan, and other countries in the region.
It's a dynamic initiative. Huh?
It's a very dynamic, but it's of course we're also working now on initiatives on climate change, for example, to combat climate change. This is a huge task for the future. I believe that now, after the corona, the medical field should be a very central theme in our trilateral and also the cooperation with other countries. we have to build this cooperation again as a positive process. And we are sending a strong message that we share the values of democracy, we cherish stability, we cherish security of our region, and what we want to see is our countries, Israel, Cyprus, and Greece, doing everything that they can to make it happen.
Yes, but or would Israel be prepared to accept having sea borders, sea boundaries with Turkey?
There was, probably referring to some reports that were in the press, it's of course was clearly stated that this is fake news. There is no basis to it. And as I said, we have signed a delimitation agreement with the Republic of Cyprus. This is a very clear agreement. We stand by this agreement. We recognize the EEZ of Cyprus. We have signed the agreement to recognize exactly where it passes. And this is a very clear basis for our energy cooperation with Cyprus and with other countries.
Okay, now Israel stands out, as does Cyprus, as one of the countries that have done extremely well, at least so far, in managing the pandemic. The challenge now is rebuilding the economy for both countries. So what initiatives would you propose or should be undertaken and applied in order to succeed that?
Yes, well, the first initiative, we are already doing it today. We are working with the Minister of Transport, with the Deputy Minister of Tourism, also with the Minister of Health, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and with the civil aviation in order to resume the air link between Israel and Cyprus. We have to remember that in 2019 we had 300,000 Israelis visiting Cyprus and also tens of thousands of Cypriots visiting Israel. This is a very important fabric of our cooperation, and we want to renew it. Of course, it will not be possible to do it in one day because we want to do it on a very solid basis.
So should we say that Greece, Cyprus, and Israel are trying to form a tourism knob?
Well, again, last week the Cypriot government took a very clear decision about how it wants to go forward in reopening the flights in June in a few phases. And Israel is in a group of countries which have been recognized with a low level of pandemic. And also, I believe Cyprus is in a very good situation. So we have a very good basis. Also, the close and the trust that exists, the close relations and the trust that exists between our two leaders, our two governments is very fundamental. And as I've said, now we have to open the next stage. Also in Israel, this has been accepted with a lot of interest. Many Israelis, I think every night today, almost every night on Israeli TV, you can hear about possibilities to travel to Cyprus soon. Many Israelis are expressing interest. But of course, in order to make it happen, now we have to build a link. We have the Israeli side, we have the Cypriot side, and we have to make this link. This can be done in talks that we are doing now. We are already holding very intensive talks.
And you're optimistic that it will happen?
Definitely, because as I said, we have the trust between the countries, we have the close cooperation on medical issues, we have very close cooperation on aviation issues, the very close cooperation today between our civil aviations and intensive talks. I believe that we will be able to reach an agreement which will open this corridor to connect our two countries in this time of pandemic, because still we have to face, and this is a very big challenge, the coronavirus. It hasn't been, it's not over. We still have to face it, but we will be able to renew the flight connection in these difficult connections through our cooperation.
Tourism is one initiative and health is the next one.
Health is definitely very important. Already our medical teams have been working with the medical teams in Cyprus during the outbreak of the coronavirus. Now today also we are working on innovation. We have very close cooperation with the Deputy Minister for Research and Innovation and Digital Policy. We are working intensively with him to identify the right technologies also for us to safeguard, for example, aviation, tourism, health issues. In Israel, and this has been remarkable phenomena. But also this is something that characterizes Israel and its economy. when the outbreak of the pandemic, just a few days after, so many tens of innovators, entrepreneurs from Israel looked at solutions. And today we have tens already of companies which are developing technological solutions. And this has created a lot of interest here in Cyprus. And I believe that very soon we will hear about success stories of bringing together Israeli startups, Israeli companies, together with Cyprus in order to develop technological solutions for facing the challenges of the coronavirus.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.